was how Japan's military resources and capabilities are sufficient already. Our Walton evidence explains that Japan won't increase arms because there simply isn't a need to. Then the military is the same in both worlds. The only thing left for this debate to be based on is how much more that military can achieve. First, let's go on to our arguments. Extend our Mitchell evidence, which explains that so far, declining U.S. credibility plus the lack of response give China a green light to the constant aggression in the Indo-Pacific, such as the disputes with India along the line of actual control, the Senkaku Island conflict, and Grey flights all over the region. In response to this, countries like Australia have decided to fight back independently in instances such as the revocation of trade deals between Victoria and China. China instantly retaliated with harsh tax and critical agricultural exports. Countries in the Indo-Pacific don't have the edge to deter China alone, and will either submit to being pushed over by China or send bold attempts of deterrence, but just aggravating China further instead. The region is slowly slipping into panic and chaos as China gains power. The U.S. allies need a leader to rally around. Extend our Suzuki evidence, which articulates that Japan is the only power that can unite countries together through ASEAN and initiate collective defense, creating a greater deterrence effect than anything Japan can achieve on their own. This is because they're the country with the most political and economic connection internationally and the closest to the U.S. This makes them reliable and a model to help stabilize the region. Our opponents' answers to this were that Japanese proliferation will be dangerous. However, we have three responses. First, we never brought up proliferation. They're responding to an imaginary argument. Second, Japan would never proliferate due to public opinion. Burger 15 finds that the Japanese public is staunchly against any possession of nuclear weapons. And third, turn this argument. Proliferation would actually increase Japan's capacity for deterrence. If Japan has nukes, that would greatly increase the leverage Tokyo can use against Beijing. They're also trying to say that war isn't inevitable. Again, they're responding to an imaginary argument. War isn't inevitable as long as Japan revises Article 9. In fact, all their rebuttals are misdirected and don't actually answer a link to Japanese aid to allies in the region. Now move on to extend some key rebuttals. Extended Yamaguchi Code that explains how the best method of stopping any form of arms race is to deter China. Because Japan is able to protect other allies, China won't possibly risk an arms race because that would be competing against multiple countries simultaneously. Extended Mitchell Code that details how there is virtually no risk of escalation. Both sides have the incentive to minimize any form of conflict. There's bipartisan incentive to stop any escalation. Even then, their argument of drawing in the U.S. literally proves their point. Even if deterrence failed the first time, then the U.S. being drawn in just shows a reaction and creates a second round of deterrence. There would be no nuclear escalation either way. In the end, you will always prefer the pro team, since we're the only side that can help Japan's military reach its full potential and help stabilize the Indo-Pacific region from Chinese influence and aggression, while the net only has some vague internal links on arms raising, which they concede has no impact in the crossfire.